should all now have access to or be able to see the introductory slide here. Maybe just a thumbs up if we're good. Yep, thanks, Zane. Okay, great. So Katie outlined the title for us. You know why you're here, hopefully. We're going to talk about what has been crowned as the new mountain bike Mecca of the world, and do a little exploring of Northwest Arkansas's soft surface trails. And we'll also tie in some of our paved or multi-use trail system information as well. But we'll get started here with just a brief introduction of who we are and keep going. Zane, you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. Hey everyone, my name is Zane Pitman. I'm a first year GA for UREC Outdoors, and I'm an avid mountain biker, and I love our region. It's great.
Thanks, Zane. Zane has also been a student staff before his assistantship here for 4 years, and we had an opportunity to add an assistantship this year, so we just brought him on. But he has extensive knowledge of our bike shop operations, educational programming related to mountain biking, and certainly has participated in a lot of our programming over the years. And then I'm Mike Hoover, Associate Director for Assessment, Staff Development, and Outdoors, which is a newer position for me that started at the end of last calendar year. I have been in the assistant director role for outdoors for the past 7 years. So here we go. So before I just jump into this quick overview, I want to just start by kind of saying that, you know, in short, if you've Googled mountain biking in Northwest Arkansas, you probably see these press releases of it's the new Mecca, it's the epicenter of mountain biking, it's the state-of-the-art trail destination. And I want to reaffirm that by saying mountain biking now to Northwest Arkansas is just as skiing is to Breckenridge, Steamboat, or any other multi-mountain ski resort destination. We have trails spread all over our region and even our state for that matter. And it's important to us to highlight those because in reality, there's a trail in Arkansas that's probably pretty close to you for the purpose of programming. And so hopefully as a result of this, you'll have a much better understanding of what types of trails are out there, the programming opportunities that you could take advantage of as a result of those trails being close. And then the value of soft surface trails, not only to our region, but certainly to us as an institution. And again, reminding you that we're highlighting this because we firmly believe that we can partner and or pass on opportunities for you to replicate these programs. So we're going to start by just looking at some of the investments that have gone into what is taken to make mountain biking a Mecca here in the state of Arkansas, and then look at some of the numbers. It should be interesting to see some of the economic contribution and benefits that have come out in recent studies related to the trail systems of NWA. And then lastly, we just want to kind of take a brief but deep dive into the program options that we've had success with and hopefully can extend to you and your programs. If you do have questions that come up, please drop them in the chat. Katie and Zane are watching those while I'm talking. And then if it's something immediate, please feel free to interrupt. I'm not offended. We'll certainly have an opportunity to discuss more at the end of the presentation. So for those of us, I assume that you've been in higher ed for some amount of time. You know that it's kind of like demonstrate the need, do the program, and then we'll think about allocating you some resources. And that's very much the same here at the University of Arkansas, but mountain bike trails in Northwest Arkansas is the exact opposite. It truly fits the mold of if you build it, they will come. And so to highlight some of these numbers, in 2007, this endeavor, this vision really took off. Since then, our region boasts 322 miles of mountain bike specific trails. And that's accompanied by roughly 162 miles of multi-use and paved trails just in Benton and Washington counties of Arkansas. Our trails see an annual volume of just over 92,000 cyclists right now in the region. And again, that includes just Benton and Washington counties, and just over 66,000 pedestrian users. So on the weekends, that average about 375 cyclists a day per day on the weekend, and about 203 pedestrian users per day during the weekend. So lots of use. In total, you can see here with the graphic as well, we're looking at about 484 miles of trail, and that includes paved multi-use and soft surface trails. And again, I'll highlight that most of these soft surface trails, although they do accommodate a wide variety of user groups, such as walkers, runners, hikers, many of them, if not most, are designed with the intent to be world-class mountain bike trail systems. So the experience for a rider is very different than if you go out and inversely, if you were to ride a trail that is designed for hiking or backpacking. So since 2007, and this is, I noted here a 2017 figure, there's been $74 million put into the trail infrastructure of Northwest Arkansas, much of which comes from the Walton Family Foundation or some arm of that foundation. I will say that since 2017, there's been a sharp increase in the amount of investment as the foundation looks to create two things, additional flagship trail systems, so like one-stop shop destination type areas, and then provide connectivity connecting all of those larger developments. We'll talk a little bit about that in a minute, but roughly they're building about 1 mile per week right now of soft surface trail. Also want to highlight that in 2017, the San Diego State's Active Transportation Research Center partnered with the foundation to conduct an economic benefits or contribution study as it relates to the trail infrastructure. And they found that at that time, there was about $137 million economic benefit to our region. And that includes roughly $51 million in pure economic activity, and then $86 million in health benefits. And so economic activity would include local business usage, bike-related events, equipment, retail, et cetera. And I will highlight that of that 51 million, $27 million were out-of-state dollars. And so if you know anything about economic contribution, the multiplier effect kicks in there, and the gains are significant. And then specific to health benefits to the area, the World Health Organization's health economic assessment tool was utilized to determine that economic benefit. And it really just kind of boils down to increased activity, resulting in a reduced mortality benefit, and then also just an avoided health costs or healthcare costs associated with increased physical activity. And then lastly, I want to highlight kind of a separate effort that the Arkansas State Park System has bought into and continues to support with funding, and that's just the Monument Trail System. You can see in the lower left-hand corner of the graphic, there's a highlight down here which includes much of the Devil's Den area. But Devil's Den, State Park, Pinnacle, Mount Nebo, Hobbs, these are all state parks that have Monument Trail System infrastructure. And we highlight that because they serve as kind of a one-stop shop for outdoor programs and collegiate recreation. You can go there, do a wide variety of activities. Of course, there's camping, all the park amenities. And so it makes it really easy to still get that camping backcountry feel if you want to pursue that. So just a little bit more information here from me before we jump into some programmatic details. And I want to highlight the Fayetteville Trail System specifically because when you Google mountain bike in Northwest Arkansas, of course, Bentonville pops up right away. And I think that's obviously by design. You know, it is the epicenter and certainly the origin of much of the funding, but they're spreading it far and wide. And so I won't discuss each of these areas that we have in the city, but everything that in terms of offering a wide variety of trail types for different users, you can certainly find that in our area as well. And I think that's important for us to at least consider, because if we have had in the past visiting outdoor programs that can come utilize our bikes. There's camping close by, and they don't necessarily have to go all the way up to Bentonville, where it can be a little bit more expensive if you need to rent bikes, and perhaps not as easy to find camping, although they have recently opened up camping at Kohler. And then finally, I just want to highlight some of the specific opportunities that we do have here on campus. And we have 2 gateway trails, freshman experience, and then soon we'll be breaking ground on the Indian Trail Bike Park. And these are located kind of in the center of campus. So in this area here is the the Freshman Experience Trail. And then down here, we'll be building on this mountain, the Indian Trail Bike Park. And both of these offer a wide variety of learning opportunity in terms of terrain for our students, and obviously an easy place, especially during the pandemic, for us to meet up and facilitate just basic social rides, progressively designed instructional clinics. So it's been huge for us. And lastly, I have to highlight the Fayetteville Traverse, which is coming together rather quickly, but it'll be a 30+ mile loop of soft surface trail that connects all of the green spaces you can see pretty much on this map. And we'll have options for state-of-the-art machine-built mountain bike trails from downhill to cross-country fill, all the way up, or on the other end of the spectrum, offering very easy to access, beginner-friendly type design. So we're excited about that. It's going to open a lot of opportunities for us in terms of programming in the very near future. So I'll pause there because this is kind of an abrupt jump into programming to see if there are any questions that I may be able to answer at this time. Hearing none, that means I'm doing an excellent job. I'll pass it over to Zane to focus in on some programming options.
Cool. So again, Mike and I work, I work in UREC Outdoors. It's on campus. It's the University of Arkansas's outdoor programming shop, bouldering wall, rental shop. But I'm going to talk more about just what we have to offer in relation to mountain biking and bikes in general in Northwest Arkansas. So educational and service, we offer several clinics to people who are getting into mountain biking. We have an intro to mountain biking, learn to ride a bike. I've actually taught a couple people how to ride a bike in years past. Beginner, intermediate, and advanced mountain biking clinics. So our goal ultimately is to get students and community members on a bike and utilize these opportunities that we have with all the trails going in to Northwest Arkansas and Fayetteville and specifically. We also offer trail maintenance and trail cleanup days. Hopefully more to come with the Indian Trails project, and we already have done a couple of trail cleanups on the Freshman Experience Trail on campus. So we do offer those. Recreationally, we offer meet and rides. So basically, we can supply the gear. You can bring your own gear. Meet up at Mount Kessler or Centennial Park or any of those places in Fayetteville, and we'll have a couple of guides or trip leaders and just take people on a ride. Those have been very popular this semester. We also do ride trips. We've put together a couple of bikepacking trips in years past, like cycling, touring type stuff. And we've also planned a couple of trips to Moab and out west to go ride. And these are very affordable for students. And we aim these mostly at students. And we also Mike, you may be able to speak more to this. Challenges, we're hoping to start some stuff on something like Strava, especially in this environment, so that we can get people out there even if we're not with them. So we may be able to sponsor something on Strava to create an incentive for people to get out and ride their bikes. Maintenance, we do, so in addition to renting mountain bikes and doing programming with students, we also have a full service bike shop. So we do basic bike maintenance. If you need to bring your own bike in, we'll work on those. We do have a full fleet of rental mountain bikes and touring bikes, or they're more of a hybrid bike, I should say. So we work on those. And we also offer mountain bike maintenance clinics. I guess it applies to all bikes, but we offer bike maintenance clinics. Those have been popular. We also offer open stand time. So if a student or a hyper member wants to come in and work on their own bikes with our tools, so we have a couple more specialized tools in the bike shop, they can do that too, and it's very affordable. And I already mentioned this, but I'll mention it again. Within the bike shop, we have full service of bikes and full rebuilds for students at a very, very affordable rate. And in addition to the retail bike shop, we have rental bikes. So and I'm going to talk about that more on the next slide about our rental bikes. So Mike, you can go ahead and go to the next slide. So our rental bikes, in this picture, you'll see our Marin Pine Mountain rigid bikes. These are excellent for like bike packing, more beginner friendly. They're not as cush as our full suspension bikes, which I'll talk about in a second, but they're an excellent option for people, and they're also very affordable. We have a full fleet, we have a fleet of Marin Hawk Hill mountain bikes. They're a full suspension bike. They have been so popular. It's all we can do to keep them running right now, not because of Marin, but because of the sheer volume that they're rented out. People love them, and they are rental bikes, so they get treated as such. In addition to these, we offer 10 hybrid bikes. So if you're the Greenway is a huge trail, it's paved multi-surface trail, or multi-use trail, I should say, that stretches from Fayetteville to I think it's Bella Vista. And it's an excellent way for people to get out, and the hybrid bikes are excellent for that. So what we want to offer, and hopefully if somebody has done this or is interested in this, we would love to rent out some bikes or other outdoors equipment for other schools to come and utilize the trails in Northwest Arkansas. We can cut a super good deal if you don't have bikes or want to come up and just ride all weekend. That's cool too. If you need camping equipment, anything like that, please let us know. And if you have questions about it, you can always post them in the chat or at the end. We can talk about it for sure. We offer trip leaders, so people who know the area well, we could maybe come up with something there, send them out with you if you're not sure about what to look for or what's good to ride. And we also offer really cheap bike trip program from another school to come up and use our bikes. Is my connection all right?
Yeah, I think you just cut out there for a little bit.
Okay. Yeah, so like I said, Mike was talking about camping in the area. So if you wanted to come up for a whole weekend, there's the monument trails specifically are an excellent place for you to come up and camp and set up kind of a base camp, ride bikes all weekend, and kind of have a hub that you can always come back to. There's also Kohler Mountain Bike Park has recently opened up a camping ground. That's in Bentonville. It's got a wide variety of trails, downhill, jump lines, cross-country loops, and it's very close to downtown Bentonville where there are more trails. There's also Beaver Lake. Corps of Engineers has a lot of excellent campsites around Beaver Lake, which is also pretty close to like Lake Leatherwood on one side and Bentonville on the other. And then there's also Devil's Den, which is kind of the birthplace of mountain biking. They have excellent campground and campsites, hiking trails, and biking trails. And so the last thing I want to talk about here is if you're interested in bringing a group of kids up, camping, and biking all weekend. You don't have to just bike. So Northwest Arkansas offers excellent places to hike, bike, just walk around. We have great paddling destinations. So if you're looking for a trip with multi modes of transportation or travel, setting up camp in Northwest Arkansas is an excellent way to get out in the outdoors, specifically the monument trails areas in the state parks. So Mike, if you have anything else to add, go for it, but I think that's all that I have right now.
Okay, I'm gonna thank you to our sponsors. Here's our follow us on social media. I'm gonna close this out so we can just kind of wrap up with a chat here. So, you know, I don't know that I recognize some of your names now that I can see everybody and know that you are involved directly with outdoor programming on your campus. But if you're not, well, we hope that you'll just take this information to the right place. You know, Zane did a really good job of highlighting all of the programs that we offer because they're easy to replicate. And we've had people come into our shop, other programs with student participants, and learn basic bike maintenance or the things that they may need to know while they're out on the trail that weekend. And, you know, it just, we use a lot of other programs for partnership opportunities. And so now that we kind of we have something right here in Fayetteville that's worth coming to, just know that we're happy to team up in that way. And then our rental bikes, I'm happy to honor our student rate on those. And if we know well enough in advance, I don't have to worry about them being available. I can reserve them, but we're talking $10 to $15 a day for a bike that would cost you $65 for a half day up in Bentonville. And, you know, whereas your program may have bikes and initially you think, we may not need to do that. Depending on the terrain that you're riding, you know, we may urge you to at least consider a full suspension because much of the infrastructure now is advanced development that's machine built, and it just makes for a much better experience. So I'm just going to pause and check out the chat here for a second.
Yeah. Justin, were you talking about the Fayetteville Traverse? Okay, I'm not sure. Mike, do you know a timeline on that?
On the Traverse?
Yep.
Yeah, the trails that y'all were talking, the ones that y'all are, is it y'all that are making those aside from the Traverse, but the other two that you were talking about, are those y'all's y'all's initiative to do?
Yeah, that's a great question. We received some funding from the Walton Family Foundation to finish the Indian Trail Bike Park.
That's awesome.
Yeah, they matched the university on the Freshman Experience Trail as well. But Trailblazers and Runway, who are arms of the foundation, are developing and funding much of the connectivity between those two existing developments and what will eventually loop into the larger 30+ mile traverse. Some of that trail right now is being built. We just walked about a mile of trail on some university recreation property that should be built in the next month. They're moving very fast on it. Indian Trails, Justin, will be university recreations and will be directly behind the new outdoor tennis complex that we're hoping to break ground on in the next couple months.
I'll be up that way in March. I might swing by and come check them out while we're there.
Yes. I'll extend a free one for you. Come see us.
Thanks.
Yeah, so, you know, we're about 3 minutes till time. Any other questions, thoughts? I know Texas A&M Commerce is coming up to do a program here pretty soon. I don't know if any of you are from TAMU Commerce on the call. Oh, yeah. But they're doing overnight stuff in Bentonville. So they definitely need to come down to Fayetteville, check it out. But Jason, I see a hand raised there.
Yeah, so just a quick question. First of all, great information, and I love the idea of, you know, maybe some sort of trip with renting bikes from you guys or camping equipment. So I'd really like to talk to you about that. The one thing that just kind of comes to mind just right off the top, if we were to ever look at that, is you know, the idea of transporting the bikes, you know, once you're there, right? So do you guys have the ability or the capacity to help with that transport, to get it to the site, and how would you go about doing that?
Yeah, great question. The answer is yes, and preferred, honestly, because of, you know, they can get trashed just throwing them all in a trailer, but we do have a enclosed cargo trailer with a mounting system that allows us to safely transport them, and happy to do that.
That's awesome. Thank you.
And sorry, to cut you short, I should add that there are a number of outfitters now in the area that make shuttles easy. They can pick you up and take you to another destination, and they have very nice transport options for bikes.
That's awesome. Thanks, guys. And then just kind of one follow-up question, and this is more on a personal side, but do you guys have a quick moment for me to pick your brain about Northwest Arkansas when we're done with this?
Sure, yeah. Sounds good.
No problem.
Any other information to share? Questions? If nothing, give us a call, because we're a great resource. Our staff and students are out riding and playing daily, and so we're happy just to point you in the right direction based on your goals, and talk it up. Thanks, Connie.
Thank you so much. Appreciate your time.
Travis, good to at least see your name. I think that's all we've got. We'll stay back, Jason. Katie, I assume that might work out fine.
Yeah, that's fine. There's no, the next presentation isn't until 1, so chat on this channel all you want.
Okay, I'm just going to stop the recording.
I'm going to stay logged in, but I'm not like eavesdropping or anything. But I'm going to stay logged in so you have the channel.
And I'm stopping our recording, if that's fine.